Episode 5. We see a down on her luck van who's apparently stuck in the 90s, and on those jeans, as she runs a VHS rental store, and who the fuck wants to watch movies in VHS? Look, I used to love the whole video rental store experience. It's something that I really miss nowadays, but not VHS. The picture quality is terrible and the sound is dog shit.
These boxy things are all movies?
No, just half of them. The other half are cookies, you fucking idiot. Thaisa then arrives and collapses, and in the past we see her newly converted to the cult because Van believes she stopped sleepwalking because of it, trying to convince Shauna to join before we go to the silly storyline on the show. I mean, look at this motherfucker. What's with this soy boy Magnum PI look? What's with the mustache? What's with the jeans? What the fuck is this? You know, that's a very specific look for a character in 2023. And when you combine it to a storyline where a 70s porn star is trying to seduce Shauna's underage daughter to find dirt on her mother and fucking Jeff, it's just jarring. This is borderline satire. Not Tom Selleck then goes to
take a leak,
and the waitress gives Kelly the check, and the girl's quick to suspect something, and I'm sure I must have missed something because I have no idea where any of this came from. She looks at the check, Googles his name because of course he gave his real name at the bowling alley while undercover, and finds out Terrible Mustache Man is actually a cop. Now that's some fine police work right there, my man. Back in the woods, we see Javi giving the 13 reasons why treatment to the truth about his survival.
Javi, just nod if you found shelter.
No, Van, I'm sure he didn't. He survived 2 months outside, in winter, in Canada. In the present, we see Kelly lying to not Magnum about her mother's affair, and Missy and Elijah Wood looking for Lottie's cold camp. Back at Shauna's home, Jeff is making all of his
sandwiches with mayonnaise
when Kelly walks in and tells them she lied to Soy Tom Selleck about her mother's affair. Jeff then freaks out, as expected from him, but Shauna thinks it's a good idea that Kelly threw the detectives off by telling them the affair was with Randy.
I've known him since elementary school.
Yep, that's the one. Jeff then freaks out again, and then we go to Nat, who finally made the jump to
start wearing purple,
as she's still trying to break into Lottie's cabinet, I guess. And in the past, Travis still trying to convince Javi to say something.
Whatever you saw there, you don't have to say anything if you don't want to.
The fuck you talking about? The kid needs to tell you everything that happened since the party, and he needs to do it fast. Y'all are stranded here, about to starve. There's no time for that kind of bullshit. What the boy knows could mean everyone's survival. Travis then accuses Nat of planting Javi's bloody clothes, and she admits to it. Missy and Elijah Wood finally find the cult with everybody
wearing purple,
but Nat just blows them off, and Missy turns Crystal into a Renaissance exit sign. I mean, look at the size of that leg. Shauna and Randy then stage a date, and
Randy, that is not for us. Just jerk off into it and throw it in the trash.
What? Who the fuck agrees to something like this?
What? Why?
No questions, okay? After what you and Jeff did, you owe me.
Oh, okay then. Everything in this plotline makes a ton of sense. Lottie freaks Shauna out, Thaisa tells Van shit's been rough, and Randy has the brilliant idea of trying to make strawberry lotion pass as semen. Seriously, this is dumb. Back at the cult, Nat tries to expose Lottie to everybody by telling them she has all their personal information. But then,
we give our personal possessions willingly.
Yeah, Nat, let me tell you something about cults. These motherfuckers are crazy. Back in the woods, Shauna goes into labor, and in the present, the detectives decide to investigate Shauna and Randy's room, and Mustache Man decides to smell the condom. Because sure, I guess, at this point. Well, they then find out she was lying, and there goes Shauna's entire plotline for the last 2 episodes at least, because they are now exactly where they were before John Holmes started hitting on Kelly. Javi tells Ben about his friend, which I'm guessing is
The other one, are you?
and Lottie and Nat do some regression therapy kind of stuff, and Natalie starts saying they were not alone in the woods and whatever was out there followed them. And this scene is great because once again, the fiercest adversaries during their time in the woods are legit terrified of something one of them says is bullshit and the other one used to see as something good. And when Nat lays her head on Lottie's lap, we see young Nat, meaning that whatever happened 25 years ago is happening once again, and she's as terrified now as she was all that time ago. Episode 6. So Shauna's in labor and we see a flashback with the girls in a biology class on childbirth, with Ben as their teacher for some reason. I thought he was a gym teacher. Anyway, Miss is interested in all the blood, and in the woods she takes on herself to help Shauna give birth, as we see present Missy speaking to Elijah Wood as she joins it. Wait. Okay then, as she speaks to this fella who's not Elijah Wood about giving up her cell phone before entering the cult, Missy then confronts an increasingly unstable Lottie about Nat and her cult before we go to Terrible Family's house, as Shauna and Kelly, but not Jeff, are summoned for questioning at the police station.
I got your back, baby.
Sure, Jeff, sure you do. But you know what? He actually makes some good points on Shauna dragging Kelly into their mess, just as he did when he first learned about it. Shauna then proceeds to be Shauna and dumps all the blame on her child.
It honestly would have been better if you just had sex with him.
Shauna!
Wow.
Yeah, Shauna, what the fuck? fuck. And it's just great how when Shauna speaks, it's always me, me, me. She puts herself before absolutely fucking everything, even before her own daughter. We then have some childbirth, some moping, and some talking about what Thaisa's other self said the night before coming back to the woods, and where the fuck is Ben? The girl has been pretty much howling for hours now and he's nowhere to be seen.
Need help. Come on.
Are you sure?
Well, yeah, you are the only adult here, you idiot. Oh great, he's gonna faint because of the blood.
I don't think I can help with this.
Yeah, nobody does, but everybody's at least trying. The girl's giving birth, for God's sake. Pat's Missy freezes as President Lottie has the most confusing therapy session ever. President Missy plays some African percussion with people, and Ben goes to his happy place because he's fucking useless. I mean, come on, shit's bad for everyone, and I get this is supposed to be a coping mechanism, but to have all these kids powering through this terrible situation and the only adult present not doing shit is kinda lame. I get that the series is supposed to be about the girls, but this dude is a whole new level of useless. Lottie then talks some sense into Misty as President Shauna and Callie arrive at the police station to talk to Borat and Officer Migraine. Dude always looks like he has a mild migraine. You know, that one right between the eyes. President Misty tells Thaisa about Lottie, and back in the woods, the cultists start chanting as Shauna makes her final push and passes out. And this entire childbirth is so awesome. It's kinda like the sinking of the Titanic. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing or where are they going. It's just pure despair and chaos with everyone trying to do something. Anything. I mean, everyone except fucking Ben. The baby is then born and everyone is happy and...
It's a boy. It's a boy, Shauna.
It's a boy? Huh. Thaisa and Van discuss Van's recent life as they drive towards Lottie's compound, and in the past, Shauna can't breastfeed. Jeff answers Shauna's phone and Thaisa tells him where she and Van are going as Shauna and Kelly are interrogated. Shauna then opens up to Not Magnum about how her life didn't turn out the way she wished it did, and Kelly lies to Migraine about sleeping with Mustache Man. Shauna then tells Jeff she confessed to having an affair with Adam, and Jeff starts to...
Swear and purple.
No, not that. Jeff starts to make sense about Shauna being out of control and tells her she has to go to the so-called wellness center Thaisa told him about. And this was really well done. The whole investigation stuff was kinda silly.
Oh, jeez, man, what the fuck?
And it had been a complete standalone story this season. But the way they came up with this really simple and well done solution for Shauna to reunite with the Yellowjackets was pretty neat. So props to the writers. Back in the woods, the baby finally latches to Shauna's breast as President Shauna teleports to the compound.
God, that was Shauna.
How? We then have this really great scene where they're all lined up as they see Lottie all the way across the compound, with her back turned to them like a Dark Souls boss when you first entered their arena. And in the past, we have this really unsettling scene when Shauna despairs when she wakes up from the dream inside her fever dream and faces the dreadful reality that her baby was actually stillborn. And I really thought they would take this whole Shauna's baby story into the supernatural side of the show, but instead they gave us a fever dream that showed Shauna's fear of the supernatural only to wake up and find out her child never even had a chance. So they actually gave us both. Great drama and great horror. The episode then ends with a great scene in the past followed by a great scene in the present. And this season gets better by the episode.